Fingerpicking is a skill that will transcend multiple different playing styles. While it's important to develop finger independence, I think the best way to dive into fingerpicking is to start with fingerpicking patterns. This is the pattern and chord progression that I teach all of my students who are interested in starting to utilize their fingers while playing. I'm going to break the lesson into 2 different exercises. With each exercise, there's a bunch of play-along examples that you can find over on my website, so be sure to check in the description for that link. The first exercise focuses entirely on getting the chords in the left hand under your finger. So we're going to play a 4-chord progression: G, B7, E minor, and C. Now before we dive too deep into the chords in the left hand, let's talk about how I want you to pick them with the right hand. So for every chord, the index, middle, and ring finger are going to stay on the D, the G, and the B string. So they're not going to move. Now between every chord, the thumb is going to move. So for example, your G chord. All you're doing is holding your ring finger down on the 3rd fret of the low E string. Now my index is on D, middle on G, and ring on B in the picking hand, and we're not gonna move those fingers. They're gonna stay there through all 4 chords. My thumb is gonna hit the root of the chord. So my index, middle, and ring finger are below the strings and they're plucking up. My thumb is above the string and it's plucking down. So if I hit them all at once, that's what it sounds like. The next chord, B7, I'm going to put my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, my index finger on the 1st fret of the D string, and my ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. Now over in my picking hand, my thumb is going to move to the A string now because that's where the root of my chord is. If I played with my thumb on the E string, it wouldn't sound good. So I'm going to do thumb on the A string. So I'm just going to use a regular E minor shape, even though I'm not playing the A string. So from the B7, I'm just going to lift my ring finger off of that G string and go to the 2nd fret of the D string. And you can also lift your index finger off, but if you leave it there, it's not going to matter because the guitar only picks up the highest fretted note. Moving on to C, we're just going to play like a regular C shape. So ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and my 1st finger is going to be on the 1st fret of the B string. Over in my picking hand, my thumb is going to play the A string. So when I put all those chord shapes together, it'll sound like this. So to practice these, start slow and then work up your speed. Once you can play the fastest example, then move on to exercise 2. Exercise 2 is where the finger picking pattern actually comes in. So we're going to eliminate the ring finger. Our index finger is going to stay on the G string. Our middle finger is going to stay on the B string. Now the pattern goes thumb, index, thumb, middle. So let's start on G. My thumb is going to hit the root of the chord. My index is going to hit the G string. My thumb is going to now hit the D string, and then my middle finger is going to hit the B string. So that's 1 time through the pattern. For every chord, you're going to play 2 patterns, so it'll sound like this. And then you'll make your chord change. So like I said, index is going to stay on the G string, middle is going to stay on the B string. What the thumb is doing is the first thumb pluck, it's going to hit wherever the root of the chord is. And then the 2nd thumb pluck is going to hit the D string. So on G, the root of the chord, like we said in exercise 1, the root of the chord is on the E string. For B, the The root of the chord is on the A string, so I'm going to do thumb on the A, index on the G, thumb on the D, middle on the B. For E minor, the root of the chord is on the E string, so we're going to do thumb on the E, index on the G, thumb on the D, middle on the B. And for C, the root of the chord is on the A string, so we're going to go thumb on A, index on G, thumb on D, middle on B. So similar to the first exercise you'll find in the lesson material, I have different examples of speeds that you can practice these at. Start slow and work your way up to a higher speed. If you found this video to be helpful, be sure to give it a like. If you're interested in videos pertaining to guitar-related theory, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for sticking around.